and I'm excited for what women got going on in general, man. It's a lot of cool stuff that they got going on. I realize that they're spearheading a lot of these different protests and stuff, especially with the DEI diminishing out of these corporate spaces and things like that. They're using this to, and this is from what I hear, they're using this time to really focus on themselves because rightfully so, they've been focusing on a lot of other people for a very long time. So I'm happy for them. I congratulate them, and I look forward to seeing what these women got out here of all races. To be honest, like it's just fascinating to see.
Doing numbers, scene one, take one, women warriors.
What's up, y'all? Get ready to break it down and level up. Welcome to Doing Numbers, your number one financial literacy podcast in the world. Clap it up. I'm your host, Olu.
I'm your host, Scott Howard.
So bring your pen and pad because it's about to get real.
That's a fact.
What up, Scott?
What up, champ?
How you feeling, man?
I feel resourceful today. We are in Women's Month. And I know to like a lot of men, like when we celebrate our women back to back, like let's use Christmas, Valentine's Day, and now Women's Month, for example, it gets a bit taxing for men and a little cringeworthy. You see the eye rolls and all that. And vice versa. Like women hate when we prove points and use logic. So I guess it's equitable on both sides. But I feel resourceful because it's empowering to lift another woman up, especially from our community. And I feel like men miss the opportunity to be resourceful in their women's lives, whether it's platonic or romantic or whatever aspect that is. And I really value being of value to our women as opposed to standing in the narrative that we don't help our women out and XYZ. I like to be the exception, not the rule when it comes to that. So I feel empowered, man.
Man, that's beautiful, man. I definitely second what you say there. In my own way, I think it's still a lot of learning to do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm utilizing this Women's History Month to continue my education on women.
Got you.
Because it's a forever evolving thing. Even in my relationship, like it be times where I be like, yeah, I know my girl. I know she, and there's times where it's on the money. Like, okay, yeah, I knew you was gonna do that, but there's still a lot.
Got you. Where you feel like there's a gap or a learning curve. Give me an example of, just without giving away too much, but give me an example where you feel like you fall short when it comes to the learning curve, when it comes to women in general, not just your woman, but something that you don't understand about the sentiments of a woman, period.
For me, or just in general speaking, I think the inclusion is huge. Especially as men, we predominantly feel like we got it, we can do it. We put the bear of the weight on us. But we really have some intelligent women, bro. Like,
absolutely.
Some extremely intelligent women who can not necessarily cut the corner, but that can cut that hard work in half because of the intellect that they bring that we're just not thinking about.
And I think they have a very unique superpower operating from emotion, right? Like the intuition is strong, and where we fall short and we think we can just spearhead through whatever the obstacle is. They like, hold on, you missing this, and this that you're supposed to get along the way by spearheading through it. So I agree with what you're saying. I think a point where I miss is the sense of community that women have. You know what I'm saying? Like men, we like you say, we like to go at it alone. And we typically are loners until we find our tribe of men that we can relate to. But women, they navigate towards each other in their likeness, and sometimes they bump heads, and that's cool, but we don't even try to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like we'll go out and we'll kind of shy away from male-to-male interaction and being territorial and dominant in our own space. But then we miss the jewels that another man might be able to offer.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I can say, I went to a networking event this past week, and these are the networking events I be trying to get y'all on to, man. Hey, y'all, I'm Scott trying to sit here and tell y'all that I'm not a good friend, and he got these books for me, and then I had my one slip up moment where the lady signed, the elder lady signed the book, and I was supposed to bring that to Scott. I understand that, but don't get it confused, y'all. I be inviting this man to several networking events. to put my guy on. You know what I'm saying? To shed the same resources and networking opportunities that I have. And countless times I can, count on my fingers and toes how many times he's like, man, I don't know, I ain't gonna be able to make it, or I'm flying out here, or I'm doing this. And I'm like, all right,
wait, time out. What you just say? I be what? And I be what? I'm a man of business and equity now. I don't have time for no motherfucking meetings and shit. But you heard he brought this up with no provocation. It sounds like he got a guilty conscience for his shortcomings. So what I will do, I'll meet you halfway.
Yeah.
And go to some of the meetings. And I'm not avoiding the meetings.
No,
I will say that.
Yeah.
Like you know what I've been going through.
Nah,
like,
for sure.
My mom's being gone.
Yeah.
And me being like the patriarch of my family, well, my prospective maternal family now, it's a lot of responsibility. And I still got my home life, my lady. She looked to me to, bring the pieces together, hold her up and hold myself up, and vice versa. But I don't want you to think that I'm neglecting your advances, because you do a lot of the legwork when it comes to our opportunities, and I appreciate you for that.
For sure, bro.
So,
thank you, bro.
Fuck you, but yeah.
That's my guy, man. But no, bro, bringing us on to, just these networking events like I was at, is very encouraging, man. So I definitely, I would appreciate it if you definitely did slide to a few, because I know it'll help you out, man, what you got going on.
Yeah.
But at the networking event, to kind of bring us back into what we were talking about. No, you good. It was the space, man, where everybody, I think there's certain men that embrace the fact of like the camaraderie, the abundance of information that's given, and them being resourceful into the information that they're getting ready to get from all different vast of people there at that networking event.
Facts.
That allow that. I think you got ones who aren't as affluent in financial literacy or just understand business who gravitate more towards the dominance part of it. Like, well, I'm gonna dictate how this conversation goes, what information I let protrude through my brain, which is crazy. I don't know why, you would pitch on you would do all that type of stuff, especially in a particular situation that gives you good information. But it was great to see, man. It was a lot of women in there, and honestly, it was more women than men. So that there just lets me know, bro, like you said, like women really take advantage of these opportunities, and they down to learn, and they have enough self-humility to say, hey, I may not know it all, but I'm gonna put myself in the space to obtain what it is I don't know.
It's a lesson in that too. Like in spaces where there are more women than men, there's usually more progress there too.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not like the Chiefs and the Indian ego in spaces where the ratio was leaning more so towards the women's side than the male side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I acknowledge that and I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. And I'm excited for what women got going on in general, man. It's a lot of cool stuff that they got going on. I realize that they're spearheading a lot of these different protests and stuff, especially with the DEI, diminishing out of these corporate spaces and things like that. They're using this and this is from what I hear, they're using this time to really focus on themselves, because rightfully so, they've been focusing on a lot of other people for a long time, for a very long time. So I'm happy for them. I congratulate them, and I look forward to seeing what these women got out here of all races. To be honest, like it's just fascinating to see.
Got you. No, absolutely. So I got a treat for you today.
What you got, bro?
Man, we did so good on our Spitfire game. We got a lot of response back on that.
I did like that game.
Yeah, it was
cool.
Nice. It was a nice little icebreaker. So I put a little twist on it for Women's Month. We're gonna call it Her Story Hot Seat.
Okay.
And with this game, we're gonna ask each other questions, but you only got 5 minutes to answer it. 5 seconds to answer it.
I was gonna say 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Woo.
And we only got a few minutes for this episode, so y'all stay tuned. Oh.
Yep.
Name a woman in history you have dinner with and why.
Sojourner Truth. And because she exemplifies what our whole purpose of this episode is about, pushing the agenda of abolishing the negligence of women's rights. Her famous speech, Ain't I a Woman? I know a lot of people are familiar with that speech.
Spit it right now.
I don't have the bars right now. Not gonna lie to you.
It's not about us. It's about women.
It's about women.
Right.
So, nevertheless, man, I love what her whole mission was. I appreciate her for what she's done for women, and the encouragement that she gives women even to this day. And so,
cool. For
you, Scott, if you could bring back one historical woman to run the world today, who would it be and why?
To run the world. That's actually easy work. I would pick Nina Simone. And here's why. Her sentiments towards society and how we handle each other and how we look at each other and the things that we concern ourselves with are really irrelevant when it comes to interacting with each other and the progress we could make if we weren't so busy with distractions. I think Nina Simone is a Renaissance woman in more ways than one. I think that she is pivotal in her initial space, which is music, but she dabbled in so many other things, and she was such a role model to people who were her predecessors and people that came up under her. And I think she would have, if we were to gear her towards running the world, she would apply those same tactics in spaces that we need and don't have now. So that's who I would pick.
Okay. I like that.
All right. For you.
What you got, bruh?
All right, man. You're going to have to live with this because you know this on tape.
All
right. So name a song by a woman that always hypes you up. Consistently. I got mine, but this is about you.
For me, I'm gonna be honest, man. I like Superwoman by Alicia Keys, man.
Word.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a real, melodic and neo soul on this one.
Okay.
Reason being, man, and I know it might not be the most popular female artist song out there that hypes me up, but again, it's not about hyping me up. It's about the hypeness that she brings for women within that song. It's powerful, man, because I know we have this stigma on superwomen, and we get into it a lot between the two races, or the two genders about feeling like, oh man, you feel like you got to do everything. Why don't you just be quiet and all that?
Anti-independent.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't want that to get misconstrued with what superwoman means to me. Like, I feel like you could be super within the womanism within you.
Oh, you just snapped with that made up word.
Hey,
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
You venturing out on D Ward. So right. I like that.
So, it's not about what job you got that can match me, about what pay. And again,
it's
I know
it's
not a competition, but being super within you,
your femininity,
your femininity,
yeah,
all of that. Like,
that's my word.
And no, that's good. And it just makes me feel good, man, that there's music out there that helps uplift the soul and gives them that space and that energy, to feel good, to feel like they on top, to feel super. As they should, man.
I like your answer, bro.
They're some of the smartest ones.
I know I ain't supposed to answer, though. I'm going to go on the ledge anyway and answer it because that's the type of guy I am. If I was a woman, I'd be ratchet as hell because you know who my artist would be? I ain't even going to pick a song.
If we talking ratchet, we got Glorilla.
You know I'm picking Glow.
Okay. I like Glow.
I'm going Glow out the gate.
I like Glow.
Shorty hard, bro.
Yeah, she tough.
All right. So, your turn to ask me one.
Which female-led movie or TV show had the biggest impact on you?
Ooh. Can I just pick an actress? Or do it have to be a TV show? Or a movie?
It's a female-led movie or TV show.
Give me Black Panther. The answer gonna be the same. Give me Auntie Angie.
Okay.
Yeah, Angela Bassett, the highest grossing female African American actress.
Okay.
Here's why. Because with her range, as far as her roles are concerned, each role had a bit of oomph in the background, right? Her characters always had a story, or they either came from a very powerful place that she had to draw from. And I think that example set on screen is pivotal in other young women's lives. And it also teaches men who to look for in a woman. So I just value that.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. That is powerful, man. It gives great representation.
I agree.
Of our women in our culture, man. So I love the depiction that that movie gave.
Facts. Hey, auntie. All right, for you, what's the time you felt underestimated and a woman made you feel seen?
Man, I'm gonna be honest. My whole high school, pretty much junior high and high school career time frame, like
You was the man, huh? You started blushing?
nah, bro. Because honestly, man, I wasn't. Although I was pretty gangster at what I did,
Okay.
man. I played sports, so just the general jockness was there, but there were certain other areas that I just wasn't up on. You know what I mean? Looks wise, physical. There was different just intangibles that I wasn't bringing to the table at the time. It wasn't that I was a late bloomer, but I just didn't really fully dive into that.
Right.
And a lot of shorties was playing me back then, bro. Junior high, high school. Everyone I tried to get on with underestimated me. Oh man, you ain't got this, or you ain't enough of that, or what I'm gonna do with you, and all that type of stuff. So that was a underestimating moment for me.
When did you feel seen after that moment?
A woman that made me feel seen. I got 3 in particular. So my mom, she made me feel seen.
Shout out OG. I love
you. It was definitely times where she may not have understood what was going on, but she was just there and felt the passion that I had and what I was doing.
Got you.
So she made sure that was amplified. Laconia, definitely another woman that has helped me. Yep, make me be seen. And then I can't forget my lady, Sim. She's definitely made me feel seen in so many ways. Again, this podcast, being able to stand up here, talk on it, give the great conversations that we give. A lot of this she does behind the scenes, man, that people that are watching may not even know. So those are the
all
3
this
women.
Production value, y'all see?
Yeah.
That's big sis. That's Jamaican Sim, if you familiar.
So yeah, if she listening, man, I know she'll be happy to hear that. So I definitely want to shout her out.
Absolute fact.
Love you, girl. What's the stereotype about women that you think needs to be retired?
Oh, that's a good one. And I might get a lot of brownie points for this because I hear it on a loop. But there is a lot of truth to it. I think we need to stop limiting our faith in women based on their propensity towards emotion. Like, a lot of time we discredit women for, or basically say that they're inadequate because of their propensity towards emotion. I think it's a gift, and I think we need to start looking at it as such, because with our lack of societal acceptance for emotion, they have a unique space to be able to navigate spaces where we can't. And while we're supposed to lead, we still need a compass. You see what I'm saying? So I just feel like that stereotype needs to die, and we need to use it to our benefit, not just as men, but as a family unit.
No, for sure. I agree with you on that wholeheartedly, man.
And that'll bridge the gap between the sexes, and it won't be so much combativeness between us, especially in our community. I feel like we kind of spearhead that, like the combativeness between us and our women, and I don't see it as much.
But we can really take that back. You know what I'm saying? Like it's layers to that.
I agree.
It's layers to that.
There are layers, but we can't live in the past.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't look in the past and say, oh, it's like that because it is. Because with us knowing that, we got the power to change it, right?
Now, with us knowing, but we need to know where it comes from. What's the root of this? And I think
we know.
A lot of people don't know. And that's the reason why we still in the circumstance that we in now. The reason why you preaching it should die. You know what I'm saying? If it was dead, a lot of people would understand that.
Right.
But instead, we still dealing with a lot of domestic situations that are, quite honestly, a conversation away from not even happening. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
Like, let's just be real.
Yeah.
Like we just, but that comes from a level of not understanding your partner, who you're dealing with, and where these emotions stem from.
And emotional maturity.
There you go.
Yeah. So I think we should dispel with that myth for sure.
Yep.
For you, what skill or trait do you admire in women in general?
I think the tenacity, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big skill trait that women possess that I admire. Like we, sometimes when we don't get certain things, man, we get butt hurt. We go shell up, we go suck our thumb, you know what I'm saying? Curl up, all that stuff, man. But women get dealt a crazy hand in so many different facets. But it's very few of them that don't get up and do it again, to try again, and push through. They don't have a problem with failing forward. You know what I'm saying? We got a problem every time we fail. It's like, oh man, we took a step back. But the woman, she like, nah, I failed, but I'm still going forward into my next move. It's been so many times where I've seen my lady fall forward and still get back up, you know what I mean? And still keep pushing and still keep trying, amongst having a family to look after now. And just her own self, just her own personal upkeep, her mentality and personal development. So it's just a lot of facets that women possess or go through on the day-to-day, but the tenacity, the tenacious act that they have to get over those is admiring.
Yeah, I agree with that, bro.
What's one thing a woman in your life has taught you that changed your perspective?
I'll just speak on women in general, right? Like, of course, I have my own experience in my relationship, but it's just reaffirming, having that experience with her, that women have a unique ability to see potential in men. And it's great because most men suffer from imposter syndrome, right? Like me, myself personally, I didn't see a lot of my potential and the things that I know I really wanted for myself. And women and my lady in general, or more specifically, spoke life into those desires, into those dreams, into those potentialities in my life. I appreciate her hand in my life. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, absent that, you would be stuck in a false sense of inferiority that you wouldn't be able to overcome on your own.
Yeah.
Because you can only see yourself from a first person view, not a third. And
That's
I think
true.
women offer that third person or eagle eye that we can't offer ourselves. Yeah. So I think sometimes this is ragged on a little bit, like women date for potential as opposed to who the man is. But once you get into a relationship that's solid and you see the person for who they are, then you can start building based off potential. But I'm grateful that the women that I had in my life, platonically or romantically, saw me outside of who I was willing to be. And I appreciate that.
Nah, that's good. That's good stuff, man.
Do we have any more? That was a good little round. I ain't gonna lie. We got a couple more. All right, let's run them down. What's a trend in women's empowerment that you think is performative?
That's a really good question. I think the innocence in the business space is a bit performative in a way.
What do you mean?
Because I've seen a lot of women that, they come in, and honestly, this is a good don't judge a book by its cover, because they come in and like they seem as if they don't know what's getting ready to happen or what's going on or the structures of this business. But then when you sit down with them and you have a conversation about the particulars, so for instance, me being in the auto insurance industry, there's a lot of women that will sit back and not say nothing. Like just completely quiet, as if they're just absent-minded of what's happening here in this particular meeting that we got. But then I go and sit side by side with them and just have a one-off conversation, and they just like, oh yeah, I know this, that, third, blah, blah, blah. And I've seen it so many times, and I've asked like, yo, why don't you guys speak up in these particular situations? And it's because from what I've gotten, it's just because they feel like, one, no one's going to hear them. Who cares to hear about this information? So if they sit there and just don't say nothing, or just kind of like zone themselves out of the conversation, then it won't be too much pressure on them to answer certain things or feel like they got to stand in front of an audience and enlighten folks or show that they're educated. Like, they do a real good job of hiding, I guess, the true education factor of who they are in certain spaces. Yeah, and their capabilities.
I think in what you just said, it can be used as a defense mechanism because women are attacked a lot in the workplace.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? For what they know.
That's true.
Like, if a woman comes in with all of her acumen, she's looked down on because she's a woman expressing it. And I think it's a shitty hand to be dealt.
It is.
And then if you have all these capabilities and you were hired for the job, why not be able to express that acumen
right
in that workspace? But women are attacked across the board.
That's true.
Especially in a predominantly or patriarchal workplace setting. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Where most of your bosses and higher ups will be men.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a lot of space to be as special as you are without being looked down upon first. And I kind of feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's real.
It's hard to advocate for anybody in a workspace because you're putting yourself at risk of termination or ridicule or not promotion, but probation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think we need to start taking those types of risks.
We should.
Yeah.
We should, man. And what's an unpopular opinion you have about women's empowerment today? Be careful.
Nah, I'm a man that likes to take risks. What I don't like about women's empowerment is how it's manipulated to be used in other areas to bring down other efforts. You see what I'm saying? Like where, and I don't have an exact example right now because I don't want us to get canceled. So what I will say is that I found that a lot of women or a lot of women empowerment initiatives use manipulation tactics to get their point across when their message is strong enough. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I feel like myself personally, I would be more willing to advocate for it if the manipulation factor was set to the side. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I just don't like being tricked out of your intention.
Right.
And I don't think that it's not lost on me that manipulation is necessary from their plight, but certain things don't require it.
I understand that.
That's just how I feel about it.
That's real. That's real, man.
I still love y'all, though. Y'all just be getting on my nerves.
Got lots of love for you, my man. But we definitely, encourage you guys. We love to highlight you as much as we can on our platform because you're well deserving of all of the flowers, all of the accolades and rewards that come your way because you really do work hard.
And you really do deserve more than what you get. And I'll advocate that from now until forever, but cut the cap. I'm just playing.
So I definitely want to get into some real important stuff, man. There wasn't anything that we left out as far as talking about our women and
absolutely
and
is, man. There's always something left on the table. And let me use this opportunity for our Hometown Hero segment where we promote a product or a service that comes from our community. Specifically for this month, we will be highlighting our women. With this brand that I have on today, this is She Apologetically line. I'm gonna speak to my camera here. This is the Create Without Apology sweatshirt, but the line also comes with a line of other premier, very nice in quality sweatshirts and textiles and swag. My personal favorite item off of her product list would be the shea butter. My favorite scent is the Legacy scent or the Aura scent, but I'm not gonna give it all away. Y'all go check her out. She Apologetically.
This is she from the Shy?
Yeah, you know that, man.
Okay,
You know I had to shout out the crib. I got the Bulls hat on. You know what I'm saying? Gotta coordinate.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Got to coordinate, man.
Yeah,
That's what's up, man. How long she been in business?
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but the past 5 or 6 years, to my knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah, so make sure y'all check that out. Google She Apologetically.
She Apologetically. I love that, man. Hometown Hero. That got a good ring to it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's She Unapologetically. We gonna edit that out. is she unapologetically with the Create Without Apology sweatshirt and a bunch of other textiles and products and services. My favorite by far is the Legacy Shea Butter or the R Shea Butter. But y'all go check out everything else she has on her site. She unapologetically.
That's good, man.
We're gonna have to edit that out. I fucked the whole name up just because of the sweatshirt I got on.
Nah, man, facts. So I wanna swing over into our Zero to Savvy segment where we just highlight, different financial tools, opportunities, advances, in literature to help our audience understand and engage more into what it takes to be financially affluent, and giving them step by step, direction and help, to becoming from a zero to someone savvy.
That's a fact.
So I want to dive back into financial literacy for all. I think this is a topic that, we should hold on to for a little bit,
Who wrote that book?
and discuss. John Hope Bryant. Again, man, if you hearing, if you seeing, definitely we appreciate the love that you have been showing us.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to continue to foster a great relationship with you. So with all the shout outs and, the praise that we giving with this great literature that you got, we'd love to have a conversation with you and get you right here
I
on
hope
doing
you see
numbers.
me looking at you in your eye, because this is my 5th turn mentioning your name, good sir. This exclusive Instagram relationship that we got, I'm not fucking with. Come sit down with us. Give us an hour of your time. We'll pay for it. We got the bread. We'll shoot you over retainer or whatever it costs. Just come sit down with us so we can break bread and we can streamline this process into getting an understanding more solidified in our community. Because that's the missing piece, right? Like we don't share audiences. We don't share resources. We don't pull the understanding of what we think is the problem versus what actually is the problem. And I see that that's your rhetoric, and I appreciate that, sir. So the next time we correspond, I'll be pulling your coattail like, hey, man, even if it's a Zoom call, let's get on here. Make sure we talk to our people.
No, definitely. And to kind of piggyback between financial literacy conversation that, we want to have with John, and then speaking about women's history is I've actually started reading this book with Sim. Yeah, me and her, we take moments out of the day where we come and we read to each other. We've been doing this actually for a little bit now, but this book in particular, in order to build and strengthen the household the way that you see fit, you got to share that information, man, and do it together.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's strength in numbers, and I'm seeing a lot more couples, Black couples in particular, because it's very scarce in our community, and that's the reason why I want to highlight just Black couples in particular, to show that it's not a one-off situation, a one-off thing that we've always been brainwashed into believing, or there's exceptions to why this Black couple is working out and we're not. It's not exceptional. We got to eliminate that thought and that ideology. But it starts with taking the time to, sit down and read with your lady. Spend an hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. You got abundance of time to do everything else. Argue, fuss, fight.
He started with argue.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact, though.
You got all that time to do that when you're not even taking the time to strengthen and nurture and cultivate that relationship. And what a great way to do that than to sit down and read.
Facts.
So what we were reading on, man, was just talking about John Hope's childhood, growing up in South Central, speaking very highly of his mom. I mean, it sounds like his mom was a true inspiration to him. The way that she fought and persevered through a lot, especially at that time.
Absolutely.
She understood money, and that's another thing about women is that they get it on the financial side.
They bring understanding.
You know what I mean?
They do.
Like, we so quick to utilize the emotion behind it and get frustrated and fluttered about it when they're sitting down and being diligent. Like, okay, while he's sitting over here overreacting and creating a circus, I'm gonna be behind the scenes being diligent about what's our next move. Putting our pieces together.
Yeah.
So he spoke about his mom and, the separation that him and his mother and his father went through because he spent the last. Crazy, right? we'll spend the last. The wife will tell us, hey, babe, that might not be a good idea. That might not be a good investment opportunity. That might not be the best move we should make with this $5,000 that we got. We should probably do this and then, let that compound. But his dad literally spent the last that they had in there because he had this grand idea that was going to make them some money, and it failed on them.
Get rich quick.
And they ended up, salvaging their marriage. They ended up getting a divorce from that, man.
Off the back and the strength of the woman.
Off the back and the strength of a woman.
Invaluable.
And did not take that into consideration. Didn't take her thought, like you said. Us not hearing them out, listening to them. We are prime examples of that. But they're really that eagle eye, that third eye that you said. You know what I mean? That sees things that we don't see.
Yeah, that's fair.
So we was listening in on that. We read about that, and then we also read about the importance of communal support. He had a guy in there that was his best friend, OC. Yeah. And OC was, your prototypical neighborhood friendly guy. We've all probably have seen our parents, whether that's their boyfriends or their friends' boyfriends, who was cool as hell. We like, yo, this dude cool as shit. And he got some knowledge, some wherewithal of what's happening. But again, he been in the street so much that that's really all he knows. Sure. So he's intellectual, but not as affluent on the financial side as one would expect to be. Right. So of course, he giving game, and it's valuable game, but he also took on a lot because John and his mother moved in with his mother's friend and her man, OC. And instead of OC just keeping it 100, like, hey, I want you guys here. We want to help support, but we got to do this as a community. Right. I can't really bear the brunt on, taking the load. Mm-hmm. We got mouths. I got a whole situation. You got a situation. What can we do? So, instead of him coming, sitting down and having a discussion, he took it upon himself to find out a way to make extra money. Right. Unfortunately, it was going down the wrong path, and ultimately he ended up getting killed. Yeah. And to me, that hit home because coming from the hood, coming from rough situations, man, I've seen it. You know what I mean? Whether it's been my own personal experience or through friends, right. Where people have good intent in the hood. Right. Believe it or not, there's good intent in the hood, but it's just that missing piece of I guess you would say, the professional way to go about it. Mm-hmm. We want to take the non-professional way, unfortunately, and it's because of what we know. But that's the difference between having OC here, I would say, for John, and him being gone, bro. Right. It's just not transitioning over to a professional way of doing it, so he could avoid not losing his life.
Facts. No, I agree with that, man. And you're right. Like, circumstance dictates the nature of what you do to get out of circumstance when it comes from backgrounds that come from the inner city or the hood, quote unquote. But I also believe that necessity breeds a certain brand of character, even if you're just a witness to the example. Right? So most people like to villainize the entrepreneurs in the inner city. Mm-hmm. But it's a certain empowerment that comes from that situation, that circumstance, and the follow through of that a lot of people miss out on because the opportunities aren't there for the people that have to go out and do it. Yeah. So next time you see it, catch yourself judging another person for what they do or how they do it, make sure you look at the circumstance, the person. Facts. And then the necessity for why they had to do it the way they had to do it.
And help. You know what I'm saying? Like, we shout out Tim Wise, with his message as far as, like, people don't want to help other people, with their shit. Sure. And this is a circumstance where this is not a bad, quote unquote, piece of shit that you got to help somebody with. This is just helping them get across the hump from being unprofessional to professional. So if you are out there and you do have the wherewithal and the understanding of how things work, and you see, like, oh, hey, yo, bro, this isn't the best way to go about it. Let's actually rap about this way. Have you ever thought about this? Looked at this? Give hope and inspiration, because if we just sit here and gatekeep and don't give off this information, there'll be more stories like OC out there, which there is.
Every day.
Where that person who means good and has value to add, unfortunately, just doesn't have the resources to attain and continue to cultivate, those good habits that they ultimately want to create.
And realize that it's by design that he doesn't have it.
Yep, by design. So we appreciate y'all, man. I hope, this episode, we didn't really get much into the financial literacy conversations, but we wanted to make this specifically geared around our Women's History tribute because, women, you matter out there of all shapes and sizes and colors. We love you all. We are inspired by you guys, believe it or not. And we want you to continue to do phenomenal and impactful things to help our country keep twirling around the axis.
If you like what you saw, make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Find us on any one of the social media platforms. That's another episode of Doing Numbers. Happy Women's Month, ladies.
Peace out.